Hi, everyone, and welcome to Faith in an Ever Changing World Encouragement and Hope Faith Story. I'm Janet Harley, and it is just my pleasure to introduce you to Justina Page. Justina is an international speaker and natural storyteller who speaks with a bold and refreshing honesty. She's an author of the award winning book, The Circle of Fire, and she's the founder and executive director of the Amos House of Faith. And she's a supporting actress in the award winning faith based movie We Are Stronger and the highly anticipated upcoming TV series Breaking Strongholds. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Justina.
It is just my absolute honor to be with you this day.
Wonderful. And if you will, please share with us your faith story.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you
Yes.
what. First of all, I'm a wife and the mother of six boys, which is a funny story in
Six.
all of itself. Yeah.
Woo, I can
And
imagine.
I'm kind of stubborn. I wanted a girl, and I went and I went and I
Oh,
went. In my fifth pregnancy, I had twin boys, and I'm like, Lord, I hear you.
okay.
So anyway. So anyway, I say that to say my life consisted of homeschooling. My husband, he had a pretty good job that afforded me the luxury to stay at home and homeschool my children. And I mean, we were in church, we were serving the Lord. I did a
Mhm.
lot with youth ministry. I love working with kids, and
Yeah, yeah. Good.
that's how life was. But I remember standing in front of my window one
Mhm.
morning, and I'm like, people always look to me for strength and for faith because they say I'm so encouraging and yada, yada, yada. And I said, but Lord, what if something happened to me? I haven't, now
Mm.
prior to salvation, I had plenty of trauma. But since had been saved, I had not faced any difficulties. I was like, of course, it's easy to praise you and to
Sure.
worship you. And I asked God a question, which I do not suggest you do. Ask God these kind of questions. But I'm like, Lord, if something happened to me, would I be able to stand? And I
Mm.
wanted to know what I was made of.
Wow.
Oh God. And it was
Mm.
2 weeks later, a little over 2 weeks later, myself, my husband, our six boys, we awoke to explosions, um, TVs popping, just complete darkness. And that
Oh.
stuff they do on TV is really not indicative of a true fire. You can't see anything. Smoke is so thick. Our whole house
Oh.
was on complete fire.
Oh my.
Yes.
Mm.
And so obviously the carbon monoxide had pretty much put us all out. But by the grace of God, I woke up and I had to literally hit my husband in the head and wake him up and just tell him,
Ah,
look, the house is on fire.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
being a homeschool mom, I had taught my kids about fire safety. Now, at the time, my twins were only 22 months. My oldest was 9, and then you fill in the blanks in between. That was the
Mhm.
range.
Right.
So immediately, just him, just in desperate straits to save his family, he bust out the window, threw out the air conditioning, and threw me out. Of
Oh.
course, I know the fire safety rule. Once out, you stay out. But rules don't apply when it comes to a mother and her children and your heart for
Mm.
your children.
Mm.
And specifically my twin boys, I knew they couldn't follow a fire safety plan.
Right.
So
Right.
what happened to me, I jumped back in. I jumped back
Oh,
through the window.
yes.
When I jumped back in the window, we are readers. Well, my husband's readers is a reader, and he had this big oak bookshelf, and it fell on me, and I was
Oh.
literally just burning to death. Like
Oh
literally, yeah.
my
And so
goodness.
I was like, Lord, is it going to end like this?
Oh,
Is how after everything
right.
this is the
Yeah.
end?
Are you
Well,
facing?
meanwhile,
Yeah.
my oldest son, the two older boys got their two younger brothers, one of which has autism. And they brought them to the point because, according to fire safety, and I just want to throw this in here if I may, please have a
Mhm.
fire safety plan.
Yes,
Please know what to do.
absolutely.
and please practice what you do, because no
Mhm.
one
You never
expects
know.
these things to happen. And I taught them that as a homeschool mom, it was fun. It was something to do. Go to the fire museum, map out a plan. It was all in fun. And it turned out to be a lifesaver for my other
Yes.
children. So they met at the
Oh,
point inside, and my husband was able to get all of them out. Even though all of them
right.
were burned, they were all, their life was spared.
Oh,
So
good.
meanwhile, I'm just about to pass out, and I could hear my husband's voice fading in and out. Dear, where are you? Dear, where are
Mhm.
you? Where are
Mhm.
you? And he finds me and he throws me out again. This
Oh,
time, flesh is just literally dropping off of my body.
oh,
I'm
good.
in really bad shape, and the neighbor had to pull me like under my arms, and she couldn't touch me really because of
Mhm.
all the
Sure.
burn. She
Yeah.
had to hold my head up with her head. And this fire is so intense that he could not just simply jump in and run through our room to the nursery. He had to run around the block, go to our back neighbor's yard, jump over their fence just to get to the room that's by our room. And he
Oh my
pulls out
goodness.
one of the twins. He pulls out Benjamin. Now, Benjamin does what a child would do. He screams. Therefore, he has
Right.
internal burns. He has facial burns. He has
Oh,
burns on upper extremities. It's bad, bad business. And before he's able to get the last child out, the house caves in and we lose Amos on site. So this is bad, bad
the
stuff going on here.
youngest. Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm in shock and I'm just
Mm.
screaming.
Yeah.
I have six sons. Where are my boys? All I wanted was my boys. And someone will say, "Well, two is over here." I'm like, "No, no, no. I have six, and here's
Uh-huh.
another one over here." And I never did hear the count I want. When the paramedics got there, they told me, I don't know, because I'm really, about to fade into oblivion. They put us in ambulances two by two. And while I'm in the ambulance, I hear this sound like, it just sounded like an
Um,
animal. And when it dawns on me that this is my son, one of my
um,
children, that's
oh,
when I pass out. Just the thought of one of my children experiencing the pain that I was experiencing literally took me out. And I
oh.
didn't wake up till about 6 weeks later. So I was in a
Six
coma.
weeks.
Yeah, I was in a coma a long time. They
Oh.
told my husband that me nor the other twin that was severely burned,
Uh-huh.
they gave us zero chance to make it. Like,
Wow.
no. They were and they delayed Amos's funeral for like 3 weeks,
Mm.
kind of
Mm.
waiting for us to pass so he wouldn't, as they put it, wouldn't have the heartache of burying us in three separate services.
Oh my
So that's
goodness.
how bad it was. It was a really, really
Mm.
bad. But thank God for praying people. Thank
Yes.
God for those who stand in the gap and can
Mm-hmm.
pray. I couldn't pray for myself. I couldn't pray
Power.
for the children
Mm.
at that time. But
Yes.
we had some praying people that stayed on their knees, stayed
One.
before God, and prayed us
Praise God.
through.
Yes.
Yes. So when I wake up, I would love to say that I said, "Oh, praise the God, I'm alive."
Yeah.
Honestly, my first words were, "What the hell, God? What, what?"
Right.
You know. And
Mm-hmm.
then they came and they told me that I had lost my child. And that was, that's the blow. They're out of everything. There, that was the blow. That was
Oh,
the thing that took me almost to the end, and started
yes.
that spiral,
Yes.
downward. As far as my
Mm.
faith and everything. But
Yes.
by the grace of God, God did a few. Well, He did many things, and we don't have time on this broadcast to talk about all of it. But I'll mention two specific things that God did that
Okay.
restored my faith, that made me the strong person that I am today.
Mm.
One is, so one of the things that my husband did for me after I came out of coma, I was still, when I came out of coma, I was still innovated, still on the breathing machine and everything. It took a
Right.
while for me to be able to breathe on my own. But when I was finally in a room where he could bring me music, because I couldn't use my hands, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything for myself. And he would leave. put a CD on and put it on repeat, like a full CD, right? Just gospel music, just things to encourage me. And this one song came on, and it had the lyrics saying, "You are my God, I am your servant, you are my King, my Lord and
Mm,
Savior," whatever. And I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, right. I got a little attitude going.
Yeah.
So it didn't. What was deep? It didn't go to the next song. It repeated itself again, and no one's in the room. So I'm like, okay.
Oh.
And so I'm still like, well, whatever, And then when it did
Uh-huh.
it the third time, I'm like, okay. Then I really listened. And one of the things the song said that all creation will praise me. In other words, I'm still who I am.
Yes.
No matter what happened to you, that didn't happen to me. I'm still on the throne. I'm king. And
That's right.
I'm like, okay. And I reached out toward him. And then last
Mm.
and real quickly, I'll
Yeah.
share this last part.
Yeah.
It was a long recovery. It's a lot to go to this story, just a whole bunch. But at the end, when I was finally able to walk again, I was finally able to drive again. I was so excited. I went to my first women's fellowship. And you got to know what that means for a woman who's surrounded by 5 boys and a husband. I love being with women. And I still do
Ah,
to this day.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm on my way to the fellowship, and um, I was fine. I was happy until I got there, and most of the kids were in school, but the mothers had the younger kids that couldn't go to school, which would have been like Amos's age. And I
Oh.
had a total breakdown in the car.
Oh.
And it was a neighbor watching me. I'm like, why, God? Why my child? And I'm just, and everybody thought I was okay because, I had physically healed. They still didn't know the
Right.
depths of the emotional pain. And I never
Oh,
forget what God told me. He told me, this is not about you. And I went from hysterical crying to hysterical laughter that tickled me. I'm like, well, God, for it not to be about me, it sure involved a lot of me. Could you explain?
wow.
Yeah, and he did. He said, I don't
Mm.
revolve around your will. You revolve around mine.
Yeah.
And I work all things together for good. Everything that has happened in your life is going to
Yes.
be good. And God has honestly made all things beautiful in his time.
Absolutely. Oh, what a faith story that is. And I cannot imagine not having gone through what you have. But oh my goodness. And this Circle of Fire, the award-winning book. Now,
Yeah.
this tells the story about the
Yes,
house
it
fire.
does.
And okay, okay,
Yes.
all
That
right,
book not only tells the story, it also is a guide for those who are the caretakers and just how to deal with life, period,
right,
when
right.
you face trauma or trying times.
Mm-hmm.
And that book
Mm-hmm.
is available on our on the circleoffire.org org.
Okay, the Circle of Fire.org. I'll be
Yes.
happy to put that link in
That's where
the
you can get a
comments.
signed copy.
Okay, all right, that's great. And then the Amos House of Faith is a
That's the
nonprofit
nonprofit
organization.
in memory
Yes.
of
So
Amos.
tell us a little bit about that because I
Well, it was
know.
established to support children and families affected by burn trauma. And basically that came to
Awesome.
being because I was supported so much that I wanted to give back. So I simply went to volunteer on the unit. And God knows my personality. I'm a fixer. And I kept seeing things. And then God said, I got a God tap. Stop complaining and do something. So that's what I did.
Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. Now, is there a website for
Yeah.
that? A link for that?
The AmosHouse.org.
AmosHouse.org. And this is named after your son,
Yes,
Amos.
his name was Amos Benaiah Page.
Ah, yeah. All right. That's wonderful. And see, you're turning all of this and letting the Lord work through you and turning all of this for good.
I'm
Yes.
yielding to God's purposes.
Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
that's bottom
Absolutely.
line.
And that's what we need to do. Yes, because yes. that is just wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and to share with us that powerful faith story today, and that how the Lord can work through us,
Yeah,
uh, and to yes, and to turn tragedy into good and something positive through
absolutely.
helping other people.
That's
And that's
right.
what we're here for.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, if you'll just briefly tell us a bit about breaking strongholds.
I am so enthusiastic. Well,
Yeah.
again, the same um, trauma got me into that. And what I mean by that, I was in a movie called We Are Stronger, where I
Yes.
was invited in because someone had read the book and they wanted to talk with me, but um, they found that they would like me to be a part of it and use part of my storyline. So I'm in character of who I am in the movie. So what it is, stepping over, this is the TV series is not a spin-off or anything, but I'm stepping over in character. And this is about spiritual warfare, suicide,
Oh,
dealing
wow.
with the first issue, episode 1 is dealing with suicide,
Wow.
eating disorders, all kind of mental issues. So
Yes.
this
Yes.
is a powerful TV series.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
That's wonderful. So
yeah.
we'll be looking forward to hearing more about that.
Exactly. Okay, so episode 1 has been shown
Uh-huh.
at some private events. You know, it
Okay.
came out right around COVID, so we weren't able to do the big things
Oh, yeah.
like the red carpet events and that type of thing that
Yeah.
we would normally do. But
Yeah.
1 through 4 is in post production and should be ready, I believe, by spring. No, this is spring. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
September, September,
Oh,
October.
wow.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
BreakingStrongholds.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you may have to come back and visit again.
I would
And
love to. I would love
yes.
to. I've enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, I've enjoyed having you so much. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. Remember, have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. God bless. Bye.